BioStar Restoration Service can quickly restore your home or business as good as new. BioStar is independently owned and operated with 24/7 emergency service and discounts to veterans. Call BioStar at 844-424-6782 or online at restorationbiostar.com. The final farewell underway for Pope Francis. The coffin carrying the body of the Pope, who died Monday morning after suffering a stroke and heart failure at the age of 88, has arrived at the Basilica from his residence. The pontiff now to lie in state ahead of his funeral, which is coming up Saturday morning at the Basilica. Crossing the Bay City bridges, MLive reporting that Space City Bridge Partners announced they will extend the subscription program till the end of this year that lets folks who live outside the city continue to pay a flat monthly rate for unlimited crossings over the Liberty and Independence bridges. Difficult day yesterday at the Genesee Valley Center in Flint Township, as multiple reports said it was a water main break that forced the mall to temporarily close during the morning. It had reopened, though, by mid-afternoon. Latest candidate to vie for the U.S. Senate seat that has been occupied by Democratic Senator Gary Peters is U.S. Representative Haley Stevens. She joins a race that includes State Senator Mallory McMorrow and former gubernatorial candidate Abdul El Sayed on the Democratic side, former U.S. Representative Mike Rogers on the Republican side. Tigers were shut out last night by the San Diego Padres. The final there 2-0 at Comerica Park. Great Lakes Loons crushed the Lake County Captains 9-3. And to cap this one off, over 5 million borrowers are now in default on their student loan payments. And the Education Department says it now plans to begin a debt collection process on those loans, threatening to garnish wages if necessary. Debt collection has been paused for federal student loans since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic in March of 2020. That's 5 things you should know from 103.9 The Fox. Forecast for today calling for plenty of sunshine this morning, and this afternoon could bring a shower or thunderstorm as the temperatures top out around 73. Cloud cover tonight with a chance of some late night showers extending into the overnight time frame. Lows expected to be around 52. And then it's a lot more sunshine in tomorrow's outlook. Warmer temperatures that should hit around 77. Friday, rain, perhaps a thunderstorm, and 71. Right now it's 45 in Flint, and in Saginaw, 44.
Signed up to win $1,000. We're going to give that away tomorrow morning in this hour. That chance to get registered to win it, if you haven't already done so, is just a little over 15 minutes away here on 103.9 The Fox.
Here we go with Wednesday. How are you? Welcome to Wednesday, Crazy Train Wednesday, and our simul stream is now underway on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitch. So taking roll as per usual. Most are hanging out on YouTube to start the morning. Tina's here. Good morning, New Jersey. How close were you, Tina, to these wildfires that were going on in your state here yesterday that have been the talk of a lot of people around the country here? Chris here from New Mexico. Good morning, Chris. Rob Suka, good afternoon to you in Finland. Linda, that would be in the township where we find her as always. Good morning, Linda. Also, here comes Canada Dan. Good morning, Canada Dan. Eric is here, California, bright and early in the morning, and also on YouTube. Sheila's here with the sunshine. Going to be a lot of it today. Sheila here, and you know what? We're right now a clean sweep on YouTube. Nobody's anywhere else but YouTube. And there was a day not long ago where we couldn't get live on YouTube because of, well, we just don't have enough interest from people to be able to be here on its own. But doing this simul stream thing, we're able to do it on a regular basis. There we are. Facebook and Twitch are still available, but at this point, totally unoccupied. Very close, Tina says she was. So you're around Ocean County then. Very smoky, she says. In fact, I'm seeing it up on my screen here. They're in the process of covering that on GMA. Ocean County. We have an Oceana County here in Michigan, over on the very western part of the state. In fact, I used to live and work there for about 4 years. Oceana County. But Ocean County right now is where they're talking about these wildfires in the state of New Jersey, and apparently Tina is right on the doorstep of those. Dale joining us. Good morning from Navajo Nation. We have Arizona now joining us on the 23rd of April, which happens to be Johnny Burke's birthday. Johnny is on. So if you're on Facebook on our 103.9 The Fox Facebook page, you can jump in there and wish him a happy birthday, as so many people have this morning. We just got done with a discussion before the live stream started about all of the wild, eye-popping numbers that suggest how old he is, how many days he's been on Earth, how many breaths he's taken, how many times his heart has pumped, and how many times he's gone around the sun, all those weird things. But what we ended up doing, and I asked him before we got on this live stream, our ever-present question: how old do you feel? And he said somewhere, I don't know if he even said it on the air. I know we talked about it before we went on the air, and he said probably somewhere in his mid-40s, but he says he thinks everybody kind of feels youngish. I take issue with that. We have so many people that say, I'm 25, I feel like 90. But Boss Lady is here. Morning to Boss Lady, joining us once again from Alabama. And, of course, Steph was, well, a little older. I don't know if she felt older. She was never really totally non-committal on a number when we asked her about that, because her birthday was 4 days before Johnny's, as it happens. And she said she also feels younger mentally, but she never really kind of pinned down an age. We do finally now have Facebook occupied. Charlene is here from right in that same area that I just got done speaking about, Oceana County in Michigan. Welcome, Charlene. Good morning. On Facebook, she is. So we'll relay messages to her from you as you talk about them.
Rock 103.9, The Fox.
All right. I think Linda's baked the cake for Steph's birthday today. Usually does. She seems to be in charge of our baking department. Food Network has that baking show. In fact, there was somebody from Owasso who actually won that over the Halloween season like 2 years ago. Speaking of Halloween, let's go over here. A shot of Ginger, who's wearing all orange today, including those Naugahyde pants that flash in the night. There you go. Yeah, mine is so far away from now, though, that nobody might be here by then. We got a long way to go before we would ever get to that. Linda says those are pleather. Do they even make Naugahyde anymore? Here's what happened yesterday. You know how we've talked on this, I think we've talked on this live stream before about how a lot of times, because the phone that you use, the cell phone that you use, usually has your microphone on unless you specifically set the setting for the microphone to be off, it will hear, somebody in some tower is going to hear what you say into that microphone, even if you're not doing a live stream like we're doing right now, or talking to anybody else via FaceTime or on the phone or whatever you use that microphone part of your mobile device for. And when you talk about anything, not just stuff you're interested in, but anything that you bring up, you might end up starting to see in your feed on social media, particularly advertising or other items that deal with what it is you have been discussing, because it takes then for granted that you're probably some degree of interested in that topic. And yesterday, I happened to run across a TikTok clip from a woman who said she was celebrating her 57th birthday then. By the way, Rachel's here. Good morning, Royal Rachel, also on YouTube. And this is a big day over there because they got dogs, or at least a dog, coming in. They always do that on Wednesdays over there. So welcome again. And by the way, she's apparently throwing an emoji our way because she says wave. But I think that she says it's there in a word, not in an emoji form. But this woman gets on TikTok and she says that she's celebrating her 57th birthday. She says, I can't believe that I'm that close to 60 because I feel more like I'm in my mid-20s, she said. So she asked openly to anybody who was viewing that TikTok, does anybody else feel that way? Interesting that would come up in my feed after we've discussed this kind of thing. But she did. She said, I'm 57. I just turned 57 today. I can't believe I am that close to 60 now because I feel like I'm in my mid-20s, she said. Okay, Tiff420 says it creeped Tiff out at first when she got suggestions of things she talked about, but then found it convenient. Yikes. It's primarily designed for advertising purposes, so that if you're interested in a particular item or a particular element to your life, advertising will then be funneled toward you, suggesting that this is the kind of product that can improve your life in the ways that you're interested in. More than anything else, that's kind of what that seems to be for. Although it does seem a little creepy when you're talking about any item or any topic, and something will then hit your feed that has to do with that topic because they're taking for granted, well, of course, if you're interested in that or you're attentive to that, you will watch that topic more, and then you'll see more and more of it, which kind of makes me... You're thinking that the phone can read your mind. If as long as you're talking to the phone, you'll talk about what's on your mind, and therefore the phone will read it just by what you say. And it's because of that sometimes when I get on one of my social, like if I get on my Instagram page, for example, and I have several now, I have 3 of them. But if I get on one, I try, if I see something that I'm super interested in, I want to either comment or like it or something. I want to interact with it, but I'm afraid that if I do, I'm going to be just bombarded with more feeds in my feed, more of those kinds of presentations. Like if I go to the one that I have, which is primarily dealing with art, and I see a drawing or a painting or whatever that is exceptionally good, I really kind of want to like it. I want to talk about it. I want to comment on it to the artist because I think it helps an artist to hear when people like something that they did, especially why specifically they like it. Not just to say, oh, it's great. If you really say something about that piece of art that will hit them, this is specifically what I like about it because it can hit them then. That's even more of a genuine compliment if you do that. But if I do that, then I'm going to see 1,000, if not more, of those art pieces just like that. And the thing that stood out was the fact that was the one that I saw. It's not going to stand out if I see 1,000 more like that.
So 7:12. It is 7:12 right now, which means we're about 8 minutes roughly away from your opportunity to get signed up to win.
This is the birthday boy. Bob is here from Facebook. Good morning, Bob. Bob Hansen.
But I blocked them all out, and we'll give you a chance to call in and get yourself registered.
How do you wish him on Facebook? You go to the 103.9 The Fox Facebook page because they have a live feed going on right there, and then just type it into the chat window for them.
Good friends of the Fox Old Morning Show, he just texted me a happy birthday and reminded me that apparently his daughter, Katie, also was born on this date.
Really?
She shares a birthday with Shirley Temple Black, Shakespeare, and Michael Moore, too. And Lee Majors, as I recall, the $6 million man as well.
Okay. Yeah. She's the voice of their advertising, isn't she?
A lot of it, yes.
Yeah.
And Katie also has beaten our team a couple of times.
Yeah, she's not to be denied when she stepped up to play.
Whenever we played the feud, yeah. But anyway, happy birthday to you too, Katie. And I can't remember her married last name, but I'll just call her Katie Streeter. Everybody does anyway. So anyway, happy birthday, Katie. Also, the Memory Lane Drive-In Theater in Monroe is closing. There were 9 drive-in theaters in the state of Michigan. There will now be 8, counting the US 23 drive-in, which coincidentally opens Friday, the day after tomorrow. They've got The Accountant 2, along with A Working Man showing there. Those are 2 R-rated movies. They also have the Minecraft movie, which to me is the place to watch it. Will be at a drive-in because it gets nuts in the theaters with these Gen Z kids throwing crap all over the place. But anyway, the Minecraft movie is on screen 2 over there at the US 23 drive-in as they open on Friday and Saturday. They also have the Looney Tunes movie there on screen 2, and then Star Wars Revenge of the Sith and The Amateur are on screen 3, so they actually have 3 screens over there now. The big one, though, the 2 movies that are out right now, The Accountant 2 and A Working Man.
I wouldn't call in right the moment if you wanted to call in on the phone because you're getting ready to play a contest. So, no, I wouldn't do it right now. They're about ready to qualify somebody else for that $1,000 prize that they're going to be giving away tomorrow.
No, I need to rectify that.
You know that song, Wake Up Little Susie?
Yes.
That happened to me.
It did?
It's about a drive-in theater. It's about falling asleep with your girlfriend at a drive-in theater
Yes.
and then trying to explain to her parents that that's
Why
all
you're
that
late.
really happened. Yeah. And that happened to me. My parents had a Kingswood estate wagon. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's a big old Chevy wood-sided wagon. The family truckster from Vacation with Chevy Chase
Betcha.
is modeled after that.
Were your rear windows rear-facing or front-facing?
That's what we did. What we did is we backed into the space, and then you would set up like sleeping bags in the back where you fold down the seats, and you could lay back there and watch the movie. We fell asleep, and honestly, I don't know why the attendants at the theater didn't wake us
They
up.
just left you?
Because when we woke up, there was nobody in the parking lot. It was dark.
What time was it? Do you
I
remember?
don't remember, but it was really late, and I'm like, oh, your parents are never going to believe me. Never in a million years. And they didn't, but they were somewhat gracious about it.
Linda had one of those experiences in a station wagon.
After 7. Hey,
Remember when that used to be a thing, a station wagon? Crossovers are kind of that now. That's kind of the modern day station wagon. Everybody's got one of those now.
in Clio off of West Vienna Road. They'll have food trucks there, grand opening deals, and a lot more, lots more, like Roy Moore will be there. So see you at the grand opening. That's tomorrow afternoon with the Fox. It actually starts tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. He'll kick it off on 103.9 The Fox. You'll see him there. The Fox Monster will be parked there. It'll be easy to spot. And you'll be able to stop in and see the new family farm and home. That's several locations now.
Yeah, they're great stores.
I think they have like 70 locations nationwide or something like that. And quite a few in the state of Michigan. There's like 8 or 9 of them in Michigan. So anyway, Roy Moore will be out there for that broadcast. It is 7:16 right now. Looking for a hassle-free car buying.
I wonder if I had anything to do with it, because I was talking to them about that being a store that's just opened up over there, and I wonder if they jumped on that because of that. That's good. Glad to see that they got the attention. Well, one way or another, if I had anything to do with it or not, at least it's there, and at least we're going to be able to get them on as an advertiser, which is good news. At the new Family Farm and Home store, which is in a portion of the Kmart building that used to be off of I-75 at exit 131, and the bulk of that Kmart building is still empty. The Family Farm and Home part that Roy is going to be broadcasting from is taking up only the space that used to be the lawn and garden department when it was still a Kmart over there.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our local
Now, on Facebook, live and direct from very warm Phoenix. It's not quite hot yet, but it's getting there. 68 degrees Fahrenheit at 4:15 a.m. Hot Jim reports it's going to be 90 today.
fuel restrictions apply.
So everybody who is on YouTube, throw a hail Hot Jim his way. Jim, most everybody is on Facebook. Right? I was on YouTube right now. Except a couple folks are now there with you on Facebook. And I don't think anybody's on Twitch yet at the moment. We're going to get to the traffic in a second here. This is Johnny's birthday. Know what else it is? It's Administrative Professionals Day. We used to call it, in the United States, Secretary's Day. But then that became a little bit too restrictive because secretaries always had this cliche kind of a job where they sat on the boss's lap, took dictation. They might type a little bit also. But they had so many more responsibilities than that. And now particularly they do because fewer people are doing it. So the people who are doing it are expected to do more. Tiffany in our office, Tiffany Tarno in our office is the office manager. She does like everything. Except being on the air, she does kind of everything for that company in our radio station. She is far from being somebody's just secretary. 57 at the moment in California, reports Eric. 45 right now here Fahrenheit. That's right, Hot Jim. The Pistons are going. Now that they got one win in the postseason, which hadn't happened in 17 years, they're going to try to actually move on and take the lead in that series tomorrow night against the Knicks. And they got a team that's capable of doing it. Does that mean I'll be on location for the grand opening? No, I won't be there for that. That'll be Roy Moore from our afternoon show. He will be there tomorrow morning from, I think, 11 to 1, he said. I've been there. I was there the very first day that place opened. It was kind of a soft opening. They haven't had a grand opening yet. In fact, I think maybe that's what tomorrow is. But I was there the first day they opened just to kind of check and see what it is. It's kind of like along the lines of a Tractor Supply store. It's actually quite nice. They have a lot of good stuff over there. I was looking primarily for the pet foods and pet treats just to see what they have. Right now, it's smooth flow on the freeways, but we're looking at 2 problem points on the surface streets, Flint Township being one of them. Swartz Street at Miller Road is going to be one of them. We have a crash there. We also have one on Richfield Road at State Road to pay attention to. Throughout the day, if you need updated vehicle city traffic information, you're going to be able to get it by checking out classicfox.com/traffic. And, of course, if you spot a crash yourself, let us know at 810-230-WRSR. That's 810-230-9777. Be a traffic tipster on 103.9 The Fox. All right, you know what? It's time to get your smile source to you because we haven't done that yet. And another one of these smiley kind of guys. This is Monroe, who lives in Seattle, Washington, and was adopted from the Emerald City Pet Rescue. I don't know if Royal Rachel's still with us right now, but they do that on Wednesdays where she is every Wednesday, and they make sure that these pets get adopted out, and this one did. It's Monroe, who lives in Seattle, Washington, and is smiling at you on a Wednesday. There you go. Tina says Rich and she are celebrating a Hairy Cheesecake Day. Really? Hairy Cheesecake Day. That's a smiley little guy there, that poodle. Oh, whoop. Bump this thing. Stupid here. Yeah. Bump my little holder. Aw. Another one of those rescue animals. They've got Genesee County Animal Control, which is the organization that brings the dogs in that you see, and sometimes a cat, once a month. On the third Wednesday of the month, they are in. They've got a thing going on for the first 2 weeks of May. They're trying to do an Empty the Shelters event, which is involving making sure that they can get every animal that they have inside their facility adopted out during that 2-week period from May 1st through the 15th. And hopefully that works real well. So they're going to be, I don't know, well, let's see. That starts just next week, believe it or not. May 1st is 1 week from tomorrow. Yes, we're going to be on the month of May 1 week from tomorrow. Boy, did that sneak up fast. So I guess they won't be here until that's already done. The next time they come in is the third week of the month. And by the time that happens, that pet adopt-a-thon essentially is going to be over with. So hopefully the best of luck to them for that. Not only is this Royal Rachel's fave month of May, we know why that is. Wait till we get to May and we'll be celebrating there as well with Rachel, Royal Rachel. Not only is this Administrative Professionals Day, but it is also World Book Day today. So if our friend Michigan Kim joins us, well, she probably won't because she's too busy celebrating World Book Day because she reads just morning till night, as did this woman that I talk about to you guys that reminds me of Kim every time I see her. She lives the other end of the street there. They just came back. She and her husband just came back because they spend all winter someplace south where it's warm. And then they come back here in April. After they leave in early January, they come back in April, and they stay here until just past Christmas. And she's outside reading all the time, no matter what time of day, no matter what kind of weather conditions. Coming out about the other day, it was 38 or 39 degrees out. She's sitting out on the porch with a hat and a winter coat on, reading. You could almost see your breath. But it didn't matter. She's sitting out there reading. One of those deals. All right, let's see what's going on in the air here with Johnny and Steph.
Flint's Classic Rock 103.9 at the Fox. It's Johnny and Steph in the house on the Foxhole Morning Show. Thank you. Smith & Smith Carpet just sent me a picture of a whole bunch of their cigars and said, "Happy birthday, brother. Pick one or 5 of them."
1 or 5.
Thank you, Matt and Mark. Thorogood on 103.9 The Fox.
Birthday boy today, Johnny is. Boss Lady Penguin says her folks had a Buick Estate station wagon in 1972. She changed the steering gearbox by herself. Did it still run the same way after you were done with it? After you changed the steering gearbox? Did it still go in the direction in the same essential way it was supposed to? Huh? We tend to talk about, I certainly did, it was yesterday, day before, artificial intelligence, AI, and how much I hate it. And I ran into it, having to deal with it again a couple days ago when I was communicating with a company that I do some business with that provides a lot of some of the other work that I do, whether it be for voiceover work or for these videos that I will do for brands, advertising them, these video shorts. And when I have communication with them, it seems like none of them actually are run by real people. They're run by AI, because anytime you want to type a question out to them, you immediately are given a response that is 3 to 4 paragraphs in length. And I mean, it all comes out real fast. I mean, AI is designed to be rapid, quick, if nothing else. And then at the end of it, as soon as they get there, they say, how did this answer your question? And I can't answer that because I don't know. It takes me a while to read through the paragraphs and then actually put into practice what they're asking me to do before I can answer whether or not I was satisfied with their response. Well, we've got AI, and I think since Hot Jim is also here right now on Facebook, this is also going to interest him. The fact that they have conducted a new, in China, event, a half marathon, which is 13.1 miles, half of the 26.2 of a full. 13.1 mile half marathon that was run by both people and robots together. Okay? Now we're starting to infiltrate the human race on the racetrack. We've got robots racing half marathons with people. Robots who never sweat. Theoretically, they don't tire. I think maybe Hot Jim can tell us a little bit more about whether or not they actually have some kind of a wear-down factor, a fatigue factor. I don't know if that happens with robots. Can they go, well, I suppose at some point you have to charge them up. I don't know how that works, but theoretically, they could go way longer than a human can. In terms of endurance, they've kind of really got us beat, I got to believe. But they did this. Running a half-mile course supported by teams of human navigators, operators, and engineers. This is a first for sure. As a precaution, they used a divider that separated the parallel courses used by the robots and the people. And while the flesh and blood participants followed conventional rules, the 20-team fielding machines in the humanoid robot half marathon competed under tailored guidelines, which included battery swap pit stops. There's the one thing about it that, again, the fatigue factor we discuss, you have to swap out the battery to keep them going, but they are there specifically to do that, these people. See? Still need people to do stuff. The Sky Project Ultra robot, also known as Tiancong Ultra, from the Tiancong team, claimed victory among the non-humans, crossing the finish line in 2 hours, 40 minutes, and 42 seconds. Awards were given out for best endurance, best gait design, and most innovative form. These are the awards given out to the robots. And so I don't have any stupid comments about, did they all get a robot participation trophy? No, they didn't. It was just the ones who won stuff that got it. Linda's thinking about infiltrate as possibly the word of the day, so we'll have to wait and see if that goes. Now, here comes Birthday Boy again. They're qualifying somebody for $1,000.
9777 Flats Local Contest Authority, 103.9 The Fox.
Okay, there you go. Okay, we have another health issue going on in the boss lady circle. Doctors are having her adopted grandson airlifted to Children's Mercy Hospital in Wichita, Kansas, because of seizures. All right, well, hopefully that's all going to work out well. Lots of positive vibes heading in that direction here. Eric's still keeping track because he's, of course, the musicologist that we have here, and he's got Skid Row on the turntable right now called 18 to Life. That's what we're playing here. I started talking to you guys a couple days ago about this when we were on a live stream on Monday, and then I realized that I had opened up the discussion, but then we got veered off into a different direction, never came back to the discussion, and the actual opening of the topic by itself made no sense to anybody. And that was that I was talking about having been to Walmart just about a week and a half ago, when I went to Walmart for a couple of items, and I noticed this woman who was there, and she was in her, I don't know, hard to say, maybe 70s, possibly 80s, whatever. Anyway, she was working there. She was a Walmart worker, and she was pulling an enormous sized cart full of cleaning materials and baskets and so forth. It looked pretty heavy. But she was still pulling that, and she's one of those that has kind of a hunched over back, so you can tell that physically she's been through a lot, and she's continuing to work at her advanced age. And I looked, but she really had, okay, the almost doggy time. Okay, so Royal Rachel's got to get set to roll the red carpet out for the rover or rovette who shows up for them on their, what they call Wet Nose Wednesday over there, that they get to do every Wednesday. Lucky them. Well, good luck, and hopefully this particular participant in your program gets adopted out quickly. So have a great rest of your day. But I noticed this woman who was working at the Walmart store in apparently the cleaning department, because there's all kind of cleaning apparatuses that she was pulling along with all these boxes and carts and stuff that was on this enormous cart she was carrying. She had this real determined look on her face, okay? She didn't look like this was one of those, oh, woe is me, here I'm an advanced age and I'm doing this crazy physical job. Maybe that was the way she was thinking, but the look on her face was, damn it, I'm going to get this thing done because I am a hard worker. There are people out there, and it's really hard for me to, when I look at somebody who's working in a job and they are at an advanced, particularly an advanced age, you wonder about the circumstances that got them there to do that. And you wonder if these people are doing it just because they have to, or are they doing it because they want to? Because there are people out there who actually do picture themselves, can't picture themselves not working. I used to have a cousin who was married to a woman like that, who could not picture herself not working at some kind of a job. She was just that way. One of those real motivated kinds of people, want to get out into the public, want to be able to mingle with the public and do things that are going to help somebody. And I don't care how old I am, I'm going to continue to do that. We had that over here when we had from the Dorothy Zender is the one I'm thinking about. She was running this restaurant up in Frankenmuth, and she worked till 100 years old.
Owen? Yes. How are you this morning, Owen?
I'm good. How are you, Stephanie?
I'm very well, thank you. Say happy birthday to Johnny.
Happy birthday, Johnny.
All right. So I get to give you the present, though.
Yes.
You're signed up to win $1,000. Number 9.
That's great. Awesome.
And my firstborn son's name is Owen, so this kind of works out great for my birthday. Congratulations, you are registered to win now. The drawing is going to be at around this time tomorrow morning, right around 7:20 on the Thursday morning show. We always draw for the $1,000 out of the 16 finalists. There will be 3 more opportunities. If you're listening and you haven't gotten a chance to register yet, there's another one coming up at 11:20, then 2:20 and 5:20 today, and then we'll have the big drawing tomorrow morning. Owen, good luck from 103.9 The Fox.
All right. Thank you, guys.
And we have more opportunities as the day goes on, 11:20, 2:20, and 5:20, as I mentioned there. And don't forget, your chance to win is just around the corner again here. We've got Steph's Fox Flashback next, and among the prizes, Scratch Barbecue gift certificate. That's next. Alice Cooper, Too Close for Comfort.
Okay, they're getting ready to do Steph's Fox Flashback in a second here, so I should be preceding that with our traffic update. Let's see what's going on. We had a couple things on the road earlier, and I think that one of them has been cleared up. It has. Still got the one thing going on still, so we'll get to that. We continue to have issues with the mall, the big, well, it used to be a well-populated mall that's right across the street from the station. Yesterday, we had a water main break, closed the mall for several hours. Fortunately, not long, but it's one of just many problems that has plagued that facility for several years, not the least of which has been fleeing businesses. They've been really, really scarce lately at that place. Tomorrow, of course, we will be in the Hal Hole Saloon, Rapsuka's favorite place, where everybody knows your name.
Top-of-the-line Zoller sump pumps that deliver reliable quality you can count on, plus a state-of-the-art sewer diagnostic and cleaning system. Goyette will help your home stay clean and dry. Complete emergency service.
Now, sometimes these closings that happen at this mall are not the fault of the mall, and I guess from what the drain commissioner says, that was the case yesterday. Whatever this water main break situation was, it was not at the mall. It was somewhere surrounding and just affected it enough so that they had to close the facility for about 4 or 5 hours, actually, is what it ended up being. But it has had to close many, many times over the last, particularly 2 years, 3. It's been frustrating for anybody who wanted to shop there, or I'm sure any businesses of the few that are still there that work there. Now, in the case of Rapsuka, he knows every Fireball's name. I believe that. I fully believe that. Fortunately for him, he's always known how many fingers we're flashing when we do. So we've been able to continue to serve him. There are people here who we are a little concerned about sometimes when they order our drinks. Well, right now, the only thing that is still slowing you down possibly is going to be in Flint Township, the crash at Swartz Street at Miller Road. That's it. Freeways right now are fine, no problems there. But for updated Vehicle City traffic info, you just check out ClassicFox.com/traffic. You'll get it there. Remember that. And if you spot a crash, let us know. 810-230-WRSR, the number. 810-230-9777. Be a traffic tipster on 103.9 The Fox.
But a lot of them are quite cerebral, including this guy. In a June 2006 interview with MTV.com, this is what he said regarding his group's concept album about the 16th century French writer Nostradamus. This is a quote. Nostradamus is all about metal, isn't he? He was an alchemist as well as a seer, a person of extraordinary talent. He had an amazing life that was full of trial and tribulation and joy and sorrow. He's a very human character and a world-famous individual. You can take his name and translate it into any language, and everybody knows about him. And that's important because we're dealing with a worldwide audience. Let's get into it. It's Rob Halford and the rest of Judas Priest will head out to the highway on 103.9 The Fox.
So now we find Tina's got to put clothes on again. Tina, do you look upon that as a major inconvenience to you that you can't watch us minus clothes? Because it appears now, she's telling us, Tina is, as a result of information coming in from Tina Jr., that they're changing their meter between 8 and 12, which means she needs to put clothes on. That's just, how many times have we run into this? You know, an emergency comes up over at Tina's place, and all of a sudden I got to get dressed. I don't want to get dressed. No. I thought maybe it was just because if you don't have clothes on, they can't get all smoky from the wildfires that are going on in Jersey, which apparently you're close to. Because that can happen. That can happen. Oh, now here comes American Dan. He's face purple crying. Okay. Okay, Rapsuka says that Linda, Finnish word mies. Is that what it is? Is that what Linda in Finnish is? Mies? Rapsuka, you'd be a perfect candidate for a gadget that I've been working on putting a video together for that translates over 128 languages. It's an AI connection contraption there. One of these devices that comes with a set of earbuds, and you use one of them to be able to translate whatever it is somebody wearing the other earbud will say to you. So if I were in Finland right now talking to you, and you could relax and not have to speak English because you got nothing but Americans or Canadians here that speak English on this live stream. You want to speak in your native language, you could do that, and then with my earbud on that I'm hearing, it would immediately convert what you're saying, and I could then still have a conversation with you. And then you could tell me to my face how many fireballs you want, or how many fingers I'm holding up. That'll work. Mies is man in English. Oh, okay, so it's not the word Linda, it's actually man in English, mies. Okay, so now we're starting to learn the Finland. Well, because Rapsuka already knows enough American to get him by. Rapsuka already knows he wants to order 2 fireballs. See, one thing, if you're going to learn another language, the first thing that you need to do, and I've learned this over the years, is that you want to find out what are the phrases that you definitely want people to know you're saying. What are the sentences you want people definitely to know you're saying? For example, where are the bathrooms? Okay, if you go to another country, one that does not speak your language, you want to know that you're going to be taken care of in an emergency. So one of the first things you want to ask is, where are the bathrooms? What is it? What is the Finnish phrase for where are the bathrooms?
Head out to the highway. Love, love, love. You know what? I'm seriously tempted by this show. I've not seen Alice Cooper. I will see him at the Sonic Temple Music Festival in just a few weeks. But just announced last week, Judas Priest and Alice Cooper at Pine Knob together on August 2nd.
Yeah, they just lost their drummer, didn't they? Am I right about that?
They might have.
I swear I think I read something about that, but I could be wrong. I could be.
You're not thinking of the Who drummer that was fired and then
that
hired.
was Zach Starkey.
Yeah.
No, they. By the way, for those of you who missed that story, they fired him, and then like the next day they said, "No, we were just kidding."
Yeah.
So anyway, no, it wasn't that. I'm pretty sure it's Judas Priest.
All right.
All right.
But yeah, Judas Priest with Alice Cooper. Pine Knob, October 2nd.
Bathrooms is in train station and public bars. They don't have them in like movie theaters or shopping centers.
Judas Priest, its name. 810-230-9777. You're a Bob Dylan fan. What do you think?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not. It's not registering with me.
No?
No. Let's go to the phone.
All right. Good morning, the Fox. Do you have an answer for us?
No.
Google isn't working so fast this morning, huh?
She hung up.
Yes, she did, yeah.
Go ahead.
Hey, good morning, the Fox. Do you have an answer for us?
I have no clue, but I want to say the Green Manalisi.
The what?
The Green Manalisi with the 2-pronged crown.
No, sorry. Good morning, the Fox. Do you have an answer for us?
Is it Hey Jude?
It is not.
Okay.
Good guess, though.
David. Hey Jude?
Good morning, the Fox. Do you have an answer for us?
Total guess. I'm going to go with Knocking on Heaven's Door.
No, I'm sorry, not it. Good morning, the Fox. Do you have an answer for us?
Is it like a Rolling Stone?
It is not.
Happy birthday, Johnny.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Good morning, the Fox. Hey, do you have an answer for us?
Yes, is it the Ballad of Frankie Lee?
Yes, it is. And the Ballad of Frankie Lee and Judas Priest. There you go. Good morning. Who's on our phone?
This is Adam.
Adam. Nicely done. I'm guessing that was was a Google search, though, right?
Definitely was.
Nothing wrong with that. But that show on October 2nd with Alice Cooper and Judas Priest, what a great show that will be.
Definitely.
Yeah. So we've got two choices for you here, Adam. You can have that $25 gift card for Scratch Barbecue or a $20 gift certificate towards some great food at Jester's Lounge.
I'll do the Jester's Lounge.
All right, perfect. That means that we'll give that $25 scratch at another point this morning, right?
Yeah, we'll have that within the next half hour or so.
All right. Adam, you hang on tight. We'll get some info off the air. But who just hooked you up with great food from Jester's this morning?
103.9 The Fox.
Perfect.
All right. Rob Suka says that if you need a bathroom in a shopping center, you're going to pay for it. It's going to cost you €2. Is that euros, I think? So what happens if you don't have €2 and you're caught in a shopping center needing a bathroom but don't have €2? I guess you're kind of SOL. It is euros. I always wonder about these places that charge you to use their restroom. Well, they call them restrooms in the United States as kind of bathrooms, but sometimes they're referred to as restrooms. Yeah, out of luck for sure. Because, you know, there are places, I don't know if this is the case in Finland, but there are places here in the United States, primarily fast food places that seem to have this happen more than anything else, where people will stop just to do that. I mean, just for a bathroom stop. That's it. They don't go in and they don't buy anything. They just go in and then, boom, they're out. That's it. But they don't need to pay for the privilege to do that. It's bathroom, but no bath. That's kind of a funny word, right? That we have in the United States. We have a bunch of things that are weird. For example, in the phrase Pacific Ocean, let me give you this, because a lot of times you guys like to play around with the words. In the phrase Pacific Ocean, there are 3 uses for the letter C, all of them different. They're pronounced differently every single time they appear in that phrase, Pacific Ocean. The word C, the letter C is pronounced differently each time it's used in that simple phrase, Pacific Ocean. Now, in the case of Finland, you can also... Do you get in trouble for that, though? I mean, because here in the United States, you can get arrested for that. Okay? What about in Finland? If you do that, as you're suggesting, which of course is a logical answer, but it's, at least in our country, is not legal to do. So, and what happens? You know, unless everybody on Facebook and on Twitch are quiet today, we've got nothing but YouTube action going on, so I don't even need to relay the messages at this point. Nope, if you do it in hide. I see. Okay, as long as you hide. Okay. Well, that makes a little more sense. Okay. Back to the birthday boy and Steph once again.
103.9 The Fox, hello out there. Happy birthday to you. You smell like a Jew.
Oh, thank you, John Vance. John Vance and the John Vance Camp. It's easy to see how he got so famous.
Yeah.
Singing happy birthday, that's what I do. That's just what we do. We go around calling people. Wishing them a happy birthday.
I'll give you a list of people and their addresses. You can go to each of their houses today and do the same thing on their front porch.
Hey, I should have thought of that. I should have got you a singagram. Remember them?
Yeah. I was really
Do they still do that?
From you, I was expecting a stripper gram, but yeah. Thank you, John.
Oh, man, that's funny. A stripper gram. Yeah, that'd really go over. That'd go over like a lead fart, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably would. Thank you, brother.
Hey, love you guys. Happy birthday, man.
Thank you, man. Have a great day.
You too.
7:50 now on the Foxhole Morning Show. By the way, Les Biggs is the former Judas Priest drummer who died just recently, like the last couple of weeks.
Okay, I gotcha.
And he was one of many. When I was trying to figure out who it was that died, I just looked up Judas Priest drummers,
Yeah.
and there were like 12 of them.
Yeah, there's been quite a few.
This guy was in the late 70s that he was one of the drummers for Judas Priest.
A lot of people left and then came back and then left and then came back.
Well, that's kind of happening with a lot of our groups that we feature. We're going to actually, on the other side of the news here, which is just around the corner, we're going to be featuring Mark Kendall, who is the founding member and lead guitarist for Great White. In fact, the name Great White was his nickname.
It was, yes.
His stage name. We're going to talk with him in a few minutes. Jack Russell was their lead singer, on-again, off-again lead singer, but he just died last year.
Okay, Tina, are you now dressed?
The band, obviously.
Everyone wants to know.
Of course, we will not, just so you know, we will not be talking about the Rhode Island station fire that was, is linked to them forever.
Yes.
Because, well, it's just, everybody knows the story. There's no need to be doing that kind of thing. And I don't think that's going to fit well. I will not be talking to him about
No, I'd rather look ahead to the show at the Film Capitol Theater on May 2nd.
And that family, those families have been going through this for years now, and they ask not to ever speak about it when you're talking to a Great White person or doing an interview with them, because it's been done ad nauseum.
Yeah,
We've talked about that
absolutely.
forever.
Yes.
So we will not be doing anything like that. Or, there's really no need, obviously, to talk about the ups and downs of Jack Russell since he just passed.
Yeah.
All right, so we will probably be avoiding those things. That said, Mark Kendall and Great White are going to be at the Film Capitol Theater on May 2nd. That show might be out. It might be sold out.
You know what? I'll look between now and then.
I'm not sure whether it is or isn't, but we'll check on that. We're going to be talking to Mark Kendall here. Within the next 15 minutes, we're going to...
Getting the smoke, Tina says. They've had a fire in the wildfires in Jersey. California is not the only place where this kind of thing happens, or anywhere out west. You can get it in the east also, and apparently are doing that.
Amazing place with craft beer and cocktails that are amazing as well. They have great pizzas. They have great brisket. And on Saturdays, you've got to try the beef short ribs. They're amazing. Wow.
Do it with the Gouda.
Okay, now we're thinking about ad nauseum. We got to come up with a word here pretty quick before we don't have time to actually put it into practice. Because that's what happened the other day with latency, which, oddly enough, is something where things are kind of delayed.
Right there on Austin's Parkway, the former Fuddruckers. It's behind, Chick-fil-A there. You
Sure,
can
by
find it
Vehicle
easily.
City Harley.
By Vehicle City Harley Davidson, right at I-75 and Miller Road. And you can win that right now by dialing 810-230-9777.
Before your commute, get the latest Vehicle City traffic anytime, 24
Okay, Rob Suka wants those large soda bottles in USA. What isn't in Finland? You don't have those large pop bottles. We call them pop here in Michigan. You call them soda in Finland, and they do over most of the rest of the country here. Jennifer is here now. She's in Facebook land saying good morning and have a great day. Yes, you do have a great day also, Jennifer. Thank you very much for joining us. I don't know how long you've been here, but hopefully you've enjoyed what we've done so far. It's Administrative Professionals Day today, which used to be called Secretary's Day, until we finally realized that they do so much more than what a typical cliche secretary role is. Administrative professionals are incredibly important to every organization. And it's also World Book Day today. You just have 1.5 liters. Okay, you don't have the full 2-liter bottle like we have. Okay, that's what's going on. Gotcha. Italian Dove Toilette, Tina says. Yeah, I don't know what that means. First thing you learned. Italian, Dove toilets. Oh, when you needed to speak Italian? Find those phrases that you're going to have to use at some point and make sure you learn those right away. Yes, I'm aware that Jennifer is a township supervisor, one of those. Politics is a dirty game, but Jennifer still can play it with the best of them. Not on a national scale, because that's just insane. Politics on a national scale is just insane. I would never, ever step into those waters, ever. But she still has her own stuff going on locally. Really, where everything is. I mean, the nerve center of politics is local. Is and has always been. Which is kind of a frustrating, and I don't know, maybe, Jennifer, you're certainly familiar with it. I wonder if you're frustrated by it. The fact that one person's vote can make way more of a difference on a local level than it ever can on a national level. Because when you're voting on a national level, you are one of millions who are doing it. And so therefore your vote is just a tiny, tiny fraction of moving that needle. Whereas if you are in a local community and you are one voter in that local community, your vote can make the difference over whether or not that candidate wins or loses, or whether that issue wins or loses. We've had so many stories around here, and Jennifer is aware of this. We've had so many stories around here in communities, these small towns, where one vote made the difference. Somebody won or lost by one vote. Or an issue, like a school bond issue, won or lost by one vote. It happens. It happens more often than a lot of people realize. But that's really where the nerve center of politics is, and where your vote counts the most, is when you're voting in your local elections for the offices or for the issues that are up. There's a big one going on. It's not really a vote, but there's a big issue going on in our neighboring city of Owasso tonight, over in Shiawassee County, where they have been talking about raising the water rates as much as 167%, because they're trying to catch up to, well, cost of living. Infrastructure's kind of been neglected there for a while. They're trying to catch up to it. They need to. And in order to do that, to be able to raise enough money to be able to do that, get their infrastructure up to snuff, they have to really jack up those water rates. And people are saying, the hell you will. And so they're going to have a huge-ass meeting tonight coming up. In fact, it was going to be so huge, it won't even be at the Owasso City Hall. They moved it to the high school performing arts center because there are going to be so many people showing up to comment on it. It's a town hall meeting kind of thing. Rapsuka has chicken. Yes, remember, vote, says Rapsuka. I'm sure it's the same thing where you are. Although you guys are so happy in Finland, you're the happiest country in the world. Are you happy about politics, or do you get nasty about that? Because politics here in this country is nasty. That's why I would never get into it. It's just nasty as hell on every level, from national all the way down to local. Sometimes even more so local, because people get physically involved with local issues because they have access to everybody else that's involved in that issue or race. And so they take that opportunity. Finnish politics is nasty also, he says. Okay? Guess it's that way everywhere. I mean, I've seen British Parliament video where they got into slugfest, out-and-out brawls over things. Now, here's the fellow who just sang on the air. I don't know if you heard it because I was talking over it, but John Vance was there, and he's here now on Facebook. Good morning, John Vance. Nice rendition of Happy Birthday.
ClassicFox.com. 103.9 The Fox. Hello out there. Hello. You are caller number 5.
Yes, the Mundy Township megasite is Jennifer's primary focus right now when it comes to politics. That's also been somewhat earth-shaking over there. Blood pressure raising over there.
Dine in, take out, or order mobile delivery. All our options to experience real Texas barbecue from our friends at Scratch Barbecue, which you just won from 103.9 The Fox.
Sounds great.
All righty, we've got more opportunities throughout the day, 11, 20, 220, and 520. And that's it for this week's drawing. The drawing will be tomorrow morning at 7:20 here on the Fox for $1,000. The Spring and Kaching continuing. Joe from the Anything for a Buck sales staff just brought us a copy of a poster somebody sent him.
Okay, apparently we've gone with rendition as the word of the day here. There were several possibilities, but the vote came in. And Linda, with one vote, won that one with the word rendition. Learn how to spell, pronounce, use in a sentence the word rendition. That's your word of the day.
We're going to have Mark Kendall, the founding member and guitarist from Great White, on the show with us here coming up in the next few minutes because they are coming to the FIM Capitol Theater again. History repeats itself. On May 2nd, which is next weekend, I believe. Yeah.
It is, yes,
It's a
it
week
is.
from this Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. So that's coming up. Stand by. We're heading over to the Hal Hole right now for all the real news. Straight up 8 o'clock at Hal Maas.
5 things you should know from 103.9 The Fox, brought to you by Fick Landscape Supplies. As we spring into the new season, it's time to get that driveway in shape with tons of driveway material, plus the finest topsoil, compost, and humus. Fick Landscape Supplies, with 2 locations to serve you. Find out more at ficklandscapesupplies.com. Like us on Facebook. Now let's get Fick and busy. An investigation continuing in Birch Run after the discovery of a woman's body late Monday morning in the parking lot of the LaFontaine Auto Dealership on By Road just off I-75. Police saying that the body was that of an elderly woman from southeast Michigan. They say there were no signs of foul play and an autopsy is pending. The coffin carrying the body of Pope Francis, who died Monday morning after suffering a stroke and heart failure at the age of 88, has arrived at the Basilica from his residence. The pontiff to lie in state ahead of his funeral, which is coming up this Saturday at the Basilica. Flags, meanwhile, being lowered to half-staff here in Michigan and elsewhere throughout this Sunday in order to honor the Pope. The Trump administration wanting to remove 8 common artificial dyes from the food supply over the next 2 years. The effort by the FDA, part of a broader push to target additives in soft drinks, snacks, and processed food that the administration contends are a risk to children's health. Health experts contend that decades of evidence suggest that they are safe at their current levels. Tigers were shut out last night by the San Diego Padres 2-0, while the Great Lakes Loons were on the road, crushing the Lake County Captains 9-3. And to cap this one off, tonight's Powerball jackpot is going to be worth $151 million. That's 5 things you should know from 103.9 The Fox.
103.9 The Fox.
Plenty of sunshine this morning, and then this afternoon could bring a shower of thunderstorms. The temperatures top out around 73. Cloud cover tonight with a chance of some late night showers extending into the overnight time frame. Lows expected to be around 52. Lots more sunshine in tomorrow's outlook with warmer temperatures that should get to about 77, might even close to 80 in some spots. Friday rain, perhaps a thunderstorm, and 71. Right now it's 45 in Flint. In Saginaw, 44.
This is the Foxhole Morning Show.
Flint's Classic Rock Authority.
103.9 The Fox.
I think this Great White poster is from 1993. Remember the old cellar door productions? That's what was the
Oh my goodness, cellar door.
In fact, the phone number on this poster, it starts with a 313 area code.
That is old.
And that Great White special guest Bullet Boys and Steelheart at the Capitol Theater back in 1993. They're going to be on the phone with us because they're coming up there this next weekend. Next, we're going to talk to them.
Okay. Now, John is talking politics here, at least on a surface level on Facebook. John, the musician, but also has other things going on. Being a part of the Mount Moore City Council, he says he sees a lot of local and some state level politics that affects our communities. And believe me, he says there are more people that only want to benefit themselves instead of the ones who voted them into their positions. It is truly sad. Yep. Well, let's give you an opportunity to smile. Since you're getting ready to walk on into your Wednesday here, we want you to smile your way into it. And so we're going to give you a look at an adopted animal from Seattle, Washington, adopted from the Emerald City Pet Rescue in Seattle, Washington. It's a poodle who is named Monroe and smiles broadly at you. This is Monroe. Right there. That's it. Yeah, next week is May. Week from tomorrow, believe it or not, is May, the month of May. Yes, sir. Look at that. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And that's Monroe. By the way, he has a little vest on like Jacko's going to wear a little bit later on this morning, and Jacko doesn't smile that broadly when he has to put that on. He'd really rather be unencumbered. He'd rather not have to wear any kind of gear at all. He's not one for putting clothes on, like Tina. Anyway, that's what we've got for you. All right, guys, thank you very much for your attendance and your attention. And tomorrow, of course, being Thursday, a special edition of our Instagram on Hal Maas _news will be in the Hal Hole Saloon, where everybody knows your name. And in the case of Rob Suka, he knows how many fingers we're placing up in the air so that he can continue to guzzle down fireballs as he does. All you do is just simply come in here, you order your favorite beverage, maybe even a light snack, and we'll be able to have you sit down, chat with your friendly neighborhood barkeep, pour out your troubles to him, that's me, and your friendly neighborhood friends, the Hal Raisers, and we'll be able to maybe answer a bunch of questions for you, be able to talk about the world problems. Hopefully they won't get too heavy because it's the morning, and except for Rob Suka, it's kind of an early morning to be tackling all the world problems. But we'll do what we can in the Hal Hole Saloon tomorrow. Until then, have yourself a pleasant, peaceful, productive Wednesday. Since it is hump day, make sure that you behave accordingly. And catch us here in the Hal Hole again tomorrow morning, okay? Okay.